I'm not in control of this plane, Qantas pilot reveals horror moment. Computers on flight QF72 broke down, and sent the aircraft nosediving towards Indian Ocean. A Qantas pilot has told of the harrowing moment his plane suddenly broke down and nosedived towards the Indian Ocean, injuring dozens of desperate passengers who thought they were going to die. Flight QF72 from Singapore to Perth in 2008 was smooth until a sudden computer malfunction off the coast of Western Australia. Warning lights flashed up in the cockpit and the autopilot disconnected, forcing Captain Kevin Sullivan, a former U.S. Navy fighter pilot, to take control. The system was telling him the plane was in stall and overspeed at the same time, but this is impossible, so Sullivan knew there was something seriously wrong. Then the plane suddenly nosedived 200 meters in 20 seconds on its own accord, causing 315 passengers and crew to scream in panic. Anyone not strapped in was slammed into the ceiling of the plane. Several suffered broken bones, and flight attendant Fuzzy Mayava, who was microwaving food, was knocked out. In a new episode of Air Crash Investigation on Foxtel's National Geographic Channel, Sullivan has explained how he guided the plane to an emergency landing at Larmonth Airport and saved hundreds of lives. While the plane was plummeting, he pulled the control stick to stop the descent, but nothing happened. "I'm thinking, okay, I'm not in control of this plane," he told the program. "I'm confused. Why is it doing this? Because it's not me doing it. It's the aircraft doing it." Eventually, the plane responded to his command and leveled, but moments later the same thing happened and the plane dived 120 meters in 16 seconds. "I remember that big fat wind roaring through the air mask," Mr. Sullivan said. "Again, my control input is locked up. Again, we have to brace ourselves against the force. And of course, the view of the Indian Ocean. There was a flash in my consciousness, are you gonna wind up there today?" With the passengers and crew crying and praying and many badly hurt, the pilots decided to declare Mayday and land at Larmonth. It was a nerve-wracking landing because the closer they got to land, the less space they had to correct the plane if it nosedived again. Sullivan eventually landed the plane using a military maneuver from his time in the Navy. "I looked at the two other pilots and I said, I think we're pretty lucky to be here," he said. It was total systems failure. Investigators worked out there had been a malfunction in one of the plane's 3 air data units. The computer system was confusing altitude data with wing angle data, and this caused it to think there was a problem and suddenly nosedive in attempt to correct it. This was a black swan event, something that had never been seen before, something that no one had ever really expected would happen, ATSB lead investigator Michael Walker told the program. "Although we didn't actually find a full explanation, we found enough of an explanation to reduce the risk of this happening again." Flight attendant Fuzzy Mayava heaped praise on Sullivan, saying, "The guy is amazing. Kevin is the reason why we're sitting here today to tell this story."